What's going on, folks? My name is Andy and I play games, and here today I'm going to give you a guide on how to start out with Final Fantasy XI. This is assuming you already have the game installed, you already have your account set up, and I'm going to take you through a character creation process, why you'd want to choose a certain character and why you wouldn't want to choose others, and choosing a starting city and that type of thing, and just the basics on how to play the game. So here we go. I'm going to create a character. Alright, so Humes. Humes have male and female, and they basically are the all-around, kind of good at everything, not bad at anything type of character. Alright. Male and female. Elvins here usually have higher strength, higher HP, higher vitality, and they are just a larger elven type character. Taras here are the small kid-like characters. They usually have higher intelligence, higher mind, and that's going to be better for mage jobs. But really, any race choice you choose isn't going to be significantly better than the other race choices. You're just going to have a few drawbacks here and there. This exception might be when it comes to magic points. Tara is definitely going to have a higher magic point pool, and it'll be a decent amount higher than the lowest, which is the Gulka here. Mithras are also well-rounded, usually better agility and better dexterity than Humes, but otherwise pretty well-rounded. Humes and Mithras are going to be kind of a good middle-of-the-road choice for just a well-rounded character. If you want like extra strength and vitality, you want to go Elven or Gulka. But Gulkas have the drawback of lower MP for sure, but they do have the highest HP, I believe. So it just depends on how you want to play. You'll have to compensate for the lower MP for Gulkas for sure. And if you want to play a mage job for sure, I would probably go with Taro. If you want to play a melee job, then pretty much any other race is going to be a good choice. You'll get the best use out of a tank job from Gulka here. Otherwise, it's kind of well-rounded. Now let's go through Humes here. Humes, you can choose different face styles, which I'm waiting for him to turn around, thank you. And then you just go through and choose which one you want, and each face basically has a hair option too. I usually go with Hume and either a light bearded or dark bearded Hume guy. That's just kind of my go-to. But you know, there's different options. So what am I going to do? Starting city also plays a factor, but not a huge factor. If you are a Taru, you're probably going to want to start in Winters. That's kind of their home nation. There's going to be a lot more available quests and shops for spells in Winters. When it comes to Mithra and Hume and Elven, or Mithra and Hume, you can probably start anywhere and not have any trouble, you know, depending on where you want to go. Gulkas typically start at Bastok, but it really just depends on what job you choose, which nation you want to choose. Some mage jobs you probably want to choose Windurst. Melee jobs, it could be Sandoria or Bastok. So what do I want to do here for this new mule? I have 2 Gulkas already. I have 2 Mithras. I have 2 Tarus. Several Humes. I believe I'm going to take this character all the way up to 99, and there's another guide here that should be coming up in maybe a few days. I'll start the guide from scratch from a character with like no help at all from my main account. Normally with the main account you can send money or send items to your mule account and get him a head start. I'm going to give you a guide, like a starting off guide from no help at all from your main character. So what do I want to do? Elven. I have Elven female and male. I have Hume male and females. I don't think I have any Taru females. Also, I tend to find it easier to level all the way up to 99 with a melee job. It just tends to be easier because you don't need as much money investment to buy all the spells. But I have mules already that I've chosen different melee jobs, and I've done that. So maybe I'll choose a mage. Maybe I'll level black mage. It'll be slower leveling, but I kind of find the leveling fun myself. So should I choose a Taru? I don't know. I don't have a Taru female, so let's just do with that. So really I'm just choosing a hairstyle here. I don't really have a favorite, but I guess what's the difference between 1 and 4? Or it's 1 and 5. It's got a ponytail with the stuff in the front there. Ponytail with stuff in the front there. I guess this is face, not hair. No, the faces aren't that much different anyway. Sure, let's go 1. Blonde or reddish or red or reddish blonde. Let's go that way. Small, medium, large. That doesn't make any difference at all besides just the way the character looks. For the Taru, I'm going to embrace the Taru and be small. Alright, so this is the choice where you have the starting job. If you are in Bastock and you start with a melee character, I believe you start with a melee type ring. If you choose a mage job and start in Windurst, you start with a mage type ring. And I think if you choose specifically monk and start in a Bastock or Sandoria, you get a special belt. But it's just a strength +1 belt. But actually, that's actually pretty good for your first 15 to 18 levels or so. But I'm going to do a mage. I'm going to start as a red mage. Yeah. Well, yeah, let's go red mage. So, in this game, this is a beginner's guide, so you may not know. This game is a level, you can get to level 1 through 99, but in your, this game is unique that you can change your jobs, change your character's profession here at any time you want, as long as you have the thing unlocked. But each job here needs to be leveled from 1 to wherever you want it to be. So I can be warrior and change my job anytime to any of these jobs here, but I'll be level 1 on black mage or I'll be level 1 on red mage, even though I've maybe leveled warrior some already. Now the thing is, once you get to level 18, you can get a sub-job, and the sub-job is always going to be half of the job of your main job. So I can be a black mage main, red mage sub, and when I'm level 99, I'll be black mage level 99, red mage level 49, because it's always half. Rounded down, that is. So you got to think about what job you want to start at, and which job you plan to finish at. So if I want to be black mage at the end, then red mage or white mage is a good sub job for black mage. If I want to really embrace the Taru and the magic damage and stuff like that, you can see the intelligence is 10, and it's 9 for red mage and 8 for white mage. The question is, do I want to start with red mage or white mage? I'm going to go red mage because if I'm going to be leveling my elemental magic, red mage will help me do that, and I can't do that with white mage. Besides, I'm going to have what's called trusts, which is NPC characters that'll help you fighting. And I always, even if I am a white mage, I'll always just have a white mage trust to heal myself because I'm lazy and I don't want to heal people. And so in that case, I will start with red mage. This will give me the chance to like melee a little bit in the start and do some magic. And then once I get to level 49 on red mage, I'll pick up black mage and take that to 99. That's what I'll do. Now, here's the hard part. The hardest part of the whole process is picking your name, unless you already know. I have several mules. Mules is basically just an extra character you have on your account for storage purposes, or to another way to make money is having your mules do stuff that's kind of you get like all sorts of like points and bonuses, and depending on what campaigns are going on. And sometimes you get useful items and you can get them on all your characters, and when that's the case, you can probably sell them and get money for your main character. So it's just a way to accelerate your money making, and also just to store items, and also just to try out new races and new jobs, and just for extra fun if you want. So what I'm getting at is there is all my mules, well, almost all my mules are named based on Stephen King characters. So my favorite series of books is The Dark Tower, and so let's see. The Dark Tower by Stephen King. Bear with me while I think here. Be right back. Alright, I think I've decided. Dark Tower character from The Dark Tower Book 3, The Wastelands. This one is going to be called, since it's a small female character, I mean, they look small, but they're not. This is still an adult. But I'm going to name this character Aunt Talitha. If you know the books, then you know which character I'm talking about. She's kind of an old lady. So. But you know, is that going to be hard to spell when I need to send items back and forth to this character? It might be. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to try Susanna here. I have a feeling it's going to be taken. By the way, this world choice here, all my characters are on the Ashura world, so I can't send items back and forth in the future if they're not on the same world. So I'm going to go with Ashura. Susanna, is Susanna taken? Susanna is unavailable. Alright, let's try this. Susanna Dean. I can't capitalize the Dean, unfortunately, because that's the last name, but... Got it! Got it! Okay. So, Bastok here. Bastok is like a kind of a royal kingdom here, and this is the home nation of the Elven. It's very common for Elven or Humes to start here. I'm not going to choose that, even though Zandoria has one could argue the best music, but you know, that's up to personal preference. Bastok here is the starting point for Humes and Gulka, typically. Then again, there's great music here too, and same with Windurst. Windurst is commonly a starting point for Tarutaru in the Mithra. I'm a Tarutaru, so let's go with that. Susanna Dean, spelled right? Yes. Let's go. Brand new, fresh character, right out of the... whatever. Fresh out of the digital ground. Whoa, music. Whoa, music. Bear with me. Okay, turning down the game music here because I haven't had a chance to adjust it in-game yet. I'll bring it back up to a normal level. give this a little overview of the town here. This is about the only tutorial we get. It's just a history of the town. And now a new star of hope has been born. What is about to begin here? Something something. It should be a cutscene here right when I start off. Here I am, Susanna Dean. Now, you see the message box here in the bottom. All the red here is the default color for when somebody shouts in the game. Shout is basically just like a sort of a zone-wide, like kind of a communication thing. A yell is like a worldwide communication setting. White letters is like a say. A say is just a very, very small area of space that your characters can talk to each other in. A say, and it'll be like a small area. Shouts are zone-wide, yells are worldwide, but they're limited to a certain amount, like per minute or something. So you can't spam the whole world with messages. Or is it just towns? Yells might be just towns. Yeah. But all towns at the same time. Right here, though, this is an NPC talking, Hakuru Rinkuru. And they're just going to go over some stuff here. You can read it if you like. It is not even really a tutorial. It's just kind of an introduction to the town, and maybe just a slight introduction to missions and stuff. Quests and missions. Think of it as a continuation of the previous cutscenes with telling about the town. But it really isn't a tutorial. So I'm just clicking the enter button, or on my controller the A button to get through. The white letters here are the names of characters. And that's all the other player characters have a white name, unless they're in a party with you, which is a group to form. Then the colors change to a reddish or something. The green letters here are NPCs, or potentially interactable, like non-playing characters that you can interact with. Or it may not be a character at all. It could be just an item you can interact with in the world. So that was a message box that just came through. I'm so used to pressing the button, but it's really probably, I think it's just an option of, do you want to hear more about this thing or something? Here we go, yeah. Where to shop, where to gain information. So you can just go through here and just like kind of find out some things, but it really isn't going to give you that much. So all the options here is just kind of giving me a I think like where do I go to shop for some stuff, but it's barely a tutorial at all. I'm going to show you actually how to play the game a little bit. So it's telling me I'm going to get an item here. It's the Adventurer's Coupon, I believe. Alright, so this here, obtained Adventurer's Coupon. when the item is in, when it says obtain something, when an item is in green, that is like a physical tradable item. It's an item used for a quest or something, or item used for a mission, or something to trade, maybe maybe not. So let me not get ahead of myself here. Also, this map here, it is an add-on if you're using a windower program. I won't necessarily get into windower because that's a little bit more advanced. Not really the basic stuff, but you probably won't have this mini map here. So, what I got here is my controls are all weird and all messed up here. I need to go and configure those. So what I'm going to do is press the, depending on what controller you're using, I have it set to the menu button to Y on this controller, or it could be triangle. It's basically the top button for your right thumb. Or with the keyboard, I believe it is on the number pad is the minus key. It's the default one for that. So the escape button, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So the escape button on the keyboard backs out of a menu. And then if you go into a menu with the minus button, you can also press the minus to get to a secondary menu, which is like kind of like a second side of the menu. Go back and forth, see status missions, status missions. That's the menu button. Also, you can get to the different ones by pressing the left or right keys, or on the controller just going left or right with the gamepad. And basically just move up and down and all the options here. Go right and then another set of options, and each basically option here has other sub options. So right now I'm going to go to the menu, and I'm going to go down to about here to the other side of the menu, and going to configure. And under gameplay, this is where you configure the sounds. I'm going to turn this down so I can hear myself think. So now the sound effects should be pretty low. Bring the music down, way down. It's a decent volume there. And I'm going to bring you back up in my recording software to a decent level. Let's try there. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully it's not too loud. Maybe I'll bring it down a little more. Okay. All right, this is how you change the, if you want to change the look of the colors and stuff like that. I don't usually touch that. Inventory sort on or off. Basically, if you get multiple items of the same kind, it'll kind of combine them into a stack of items and save you inventory space, so I'm going to turn that on. Now to chat filters. Here's where you can turn off certain messages. If I want to not want to hear any of the zone-wide shouts, I just turn that filter on and it removes them. I don't want to hear any yells either, so I'll turn that off. And link shell is okay, even though I have no link shell. Party's okay, tells okay, says okay. So now that I turn those off, I shouldn't get any more of the red text showing up. And font colors, I can change the colors of the fonts that show up, so I can better tell where I'm getting communication from, but I'm so used to the default, I won't change that. Windows here, this is where you can kind of adjust how you want your chat window to show up. I personally like to set the chat window to at least one line that never goes away. That's just the way I prefer it. And then the maximum to be 8 lines, but you can increase it to more and have a more full chat window. But usually the top line will go away over time, and then but leaving the minimum lines being the only ones to show up. I can have the minimum lines be 8 and it'll never go shorter than 8, but I just like to hear the last thing and keep this to a basic 8. That's kind of like the old school maximum. And you can change your window width. You can kind of change this when new messages show up that go beyond that. It'll actually go to the next line. So, but right now it cuts them off until something new shows up, I believe. And the resize time, that basically is how fast that the window reduces down to your minimum. I'll keep that at the default, which is like there. And I'll go there. Actually, let me go here to show you. This is like window 1. Window 2, which I can turn on also, is a second window that shows up, and you can have different text go on different windows. Maybe all the battle text be on your left window, and then like some chat messages be on your right. So shared here, this is I can make the chat windows show up like this. I can make them like kind of stack like that, or I can just turn off multi-windows in general, leaving just the one window. Timestamp also is useful if you want to see what time somebody messaged you or what time a message came through. I'm not worried about that myself, so I'll leave that off. And so I can go horizontal here, and this is where I can actually access window 2 here and kind of make that bigger, or go make that down to that, and then kind of adjust the width of this too. But it seems odd to not have it match up directly with the Susanna HP bar. Oh, by the way, you can't see that. There we go. So down here, Susanna, here's my health, which is the top number, and my MP, which is the bottom number. The 0 here is, which you can't see. Here we go. So 0 here is my tactical points. That is a window or add-on, so I don't have to go into a menu and see my tactical points. I can just see it right there. And it's my character name, and the pink here is the health, and 25 here, the greenish, is the MP. So, but I like to keep the windows at just the off, so it's just the one window, and then go into that one window, make the width an even flush with the edge of my HP. And if I get a party members or trusts that are NPCs that'll help me out in the fight, I will have this window fill up to about here or so. Then I'll have all my characters right here. So that is the window. This log here, by the way, so the log here is like what happens in the log, in the chat window. I'm going to only access window 1 because I don't want to. I'm not going to be using window 2, and I can have my settings here to this is also kind of a filter, a log filter. I don't really use that one, so I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to tell you the wrong thing. So miscellaneous here. This is where your on-screen damage will show either on just the log or on the screen or on both. I'm going to change it to both. Character information shown. You can see if somebody checks me, somebody looks at my character, they can see what level I am. Right now it's at shown, and right here is hidden, so they can't see the level and character and like the job and level you are, which I don't get why people do that, but might as well show it. And depending on your graphics card, you can change your settings. Your graphics setting shadows to high, weather effects included, character models displayed, all basically maximum. And armor display is static or normal. Static means you can set your armor to show a certain set of gear. Whether when you change your armor, it won't change the way you look. So you can basically have a way of picking whatever gear you like the best to look at, and then your armor might change throughout the game, but you'll still look the same. So I just have it at normal, and I change it whenever I change my armor. Miscellaneous 2, clipping plane. I don't really get exactly what this is, but I always leave it at max. Footstep effects, which is sound effects, I leave on. Animation frame rate max. Keyboard size, it's just basically a keyboard layout setting. I don't really use a keyboard a whole lot except just to type messages, so I usually put it at full, and that's kind of like my base one. Background aspect ratio. This actually changes your character and your background. Actually, I like change to 16:9 because that's like the base. That's like the typical resolution of widescreen. Key assignment I don't really deal with, but you can. I suppose you can change your keys to do whatever to change what you want. Basically, if you want to move with certain keys, then you can use that. Macro palette size, yeah, that's pretty much what I do there. Macro palette position. Oh, speaking of macros, macros are a menu that you can pop up here that will do a series of commands. So I can go into basically two different settings here. Either the control button brings up macros. Back to the screen here. So control brings up Control Alt Shift. Not sure why it's not doing it on my keyboard, but I don't really use it on the keyboard. So I have the macro settings to L trigger and right trigger, left and right triggers. And you go into each one. You want to change macros. You can go in and change like basically a series of commands that'll happen all back to back. This is a little bit more advanced than the basic stuff, but macros are a useful tool in speeding up commands. I can get into that in another time. If you'd like, leave a comment below if you want me to get into that. So let's go back to config, miscellaneous 2. Oh wait. Okay, so miscellaneous 3. Weapon effects. This is like a graphical effects when you attack. Style lock is a similar thing to equipment lock. Area display. This is basically a circle will show up around an object you're attacking with magic or yourself. It'll basically give you the range of effect of that particular spell. Some spells have a smaller range, some spells have a wider range, and it'll just tell you like if that character is going to be in range of something else. Party icons, I'm going to turn that on. Timer display on. So, furniture camera collision off. I don't know what that is, but I'm not worried about it. So, party icon. I believe when you have, right around this area here, when you have party members and you're highlighting a certain character, it'll show right around here what special effects they have currently on them, either negative or positive. Positives are called buffs and negatives are called debuffs, and you'll get to know which ones are which. I believe that'll show right around here, the top of the chat box. So right around here, when you have a character highlighted, you have an ally highlighted basically. So when I go to select a character, which I use with either the tab key on the keyboard, or I have it set to left and right on my D-pad on my controller. So that character, if they had any buffs, they would probably show up here. Although they may only show up if they're in my party. I'm not sure about that. But you can select characters. You see how down here all the characters are showing up. And I can go over to White Snake X and then press the enter button here, and I get options for that. I can chat with them. I can use magic on them. I have no spells, so I can't do that. I can check them, which basically just looks at their character. Level 16 White Mage, and this is the gear they have on. If you like looking at a piece of gear and you like the way that looks or something, then you can go in and say, hey, I want to buy a tunic. Alright, so let's get back to the, and the timer display. Timer display is when you have a status effect on your character, it'll actually show how much time is left before that effect wears off. So that's super useful to have. And miscellaneous 4, I'm not really sure exactly what this does. I don't really touch it. And effects, this is basically if you want to improve your graphics performance, you can filter out certain effects that you have. Either the characters on a monster, or a monster attacking a character, monster attacking a certain party member, or party members attacking a monster, or characters that aren't in your party attacking other. I just leave it at base because it doesn't really matter that much to me with my computer. All right, so now mouse and camera. This is the menu to choose the way how your controllers work and stuff, and how the mouse makes moves around. I personally, third-person camera, I usually keep in third person, and I usually go to inverted. You just have to test out for yourself which one you like. I personally like this one because then I go up to move the camera like that, and down to move the camera like that, and left and right to move the camera like this. This is left, this is right, but it's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you're used to with other games that you play. And first person, however, is when I'm like this, and I want to look this way, I go that way, look that way, go that way. It doesn't really turn the camera as much as turns your character's head, basically. Even though I don't think that shows on the screen, turning your head, but it's kind of like because I can still run a certain direction and turn. Oh, this is kind of weird. Yeah, I'm kind of like turning my head, not moving my character in a different spot. So that's why it's a little bit different. But I can move around and kind of turn my character's head while I'm doing that. It's just kind of a different way to play. By the way, I pressed the right stick to go back and forth between that. And while I'm talking about it, I can while I'm running, I can click on the left stick, and I can continue running. This controller's a little bit old, so it doesn't always get it quite right. But right now I'm auto running, and I'm just moving my character while it's still running. And if I want to stop the auto running, I can just press down to turn it off. So I'm gonna click in to keep running that way, and then I'm just I can move around. I can freely move all the way around my character if I want to, up and down, all around. I can move this way in case you want to get a nice screenshot of you running away from an explosion or something. All right. So that's the basics of moving around and changing settings. Let's see if there's anything else I want to show you quick. Oh, global here. This is basically a language filter. If you don't want to see like foul language or something like that, the system kind of knows what they are to some extent, and it'll turn those off for you. I personally don't care, so I leave that off. And auto detect detects when you're idle. It'll auto log you off if you're idle for a certain amount of time. I have that off so I stay on. And when it comes to settings, that's pretty much what I do. So yeah, let's just go a few more basic stuff here. If I'm moving around and I want to, if I'm on the keyboard, I press tab to click on the game here. When I'm on a keyboard, I press tab to highlight somebody, and when whatever is highlighted and you press the interact button, that's the one that you will they'll talk to you. And you just click to go through the menus. I want to, and basically this guy here will actually tell you some tutorial type stuff. But I'm pretty much going to go over with you that stuff. Yeah. Also, if I talk to him, he's going to be giving me all this weird text, and it's kind of hard to read. So, yeah, I'll give you the basics. All right. So this Jack of Clubs here. Remember when I got that Adventurers coupon, which is the Adventurers coupon here, the item I got? Remember how it was green? The green items actually will show up in your inventory, and they're usable in some way or another. The yellow text ones are usable on my character. I can just use this item right now. I can click on that and use the item. That's the Dia spell. That's the first spell I can learn, and I can come with it automatically. And now I've learned the spell Dia, which is an attack spell. It does like a little bit of damage over time. It also has special effects too that lowers defense. I'm sorry, it lowers defense. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, let me get back to this. Jack of Clubs. He's the one, right now I have 10 gil. 10 gil is nothing. But I can go down to trade here, and I can, I can go to trade right now, and it'll kind of like the blue cursor right here is kind of like a sub cursor. Like you can click on. It's like you're trading with whatever like NPCs that it finds in the area. See, and you can kind of scroll through the options to trade. It's blue right here because it's actually I'm close enough to do it. Red over here is I'm too far away to do this particular action to it. I'm too far away to trade. See, I can go to here and this is out of range. But if I go to target, if I'm not selecting anything and I go to target, it'll automatically go through the things I can trade with. It could be a character, it could be a non-character, it could be just a blank space in the ground that you can interact with. I'm going to trade with the Jack of Clubs, and to bring up this menu here. And these are all of the things you're going to try to give it. And I could give it the arc shield or the iron onion dagger, but it's not going to do anything. He doesn't want that. He's just going to like be nothing. I'll show you. So nothing happens because the character doesn't want that. But I can give him the adventurer's coupon, and that'll trigger an event to happen that will show me, hey, I'm turning in this adventurer's coupon. This is going to give me a reward for it, 50 gil. So now I have 60 gil, which is also still nothing. And that brings me to, oh, by the way, sorry. So I can not highlight anything and go to the trade, and it'll kind of lock me into the things I can trade with and give me the blue or the red, depending on how close I am. But I can also go to highlight the thing right away and then go to trade, and it'll automatically bring the thing up because it knows that's what I want to trade with. So hope that clears that up a little bit. Trading items to NPCs or spots in the world is going to be key to proceeding with this game. Remember, this is a very, very basic tutorial. And so what I'm going to do now is show you the equipment screen. So right now, here's all the slots I have. I have here where it says main. That's your weapon slot. I'm going to equip this dagger here. And in the sub slot is where you can have a second weapon if you have the ability to use a second weapon, which you can with a certain, if you have certain job traits, like ninjas, for example. Ninjas, dancers, thieves can use 2 weapons at once. Or if you have them as a sub job, then you can use that ability once you're high enough in that sub job. More on that later, maybe. But right now I'm going to put on this arc shield, and now I have carrying the dagger around, which is kind of like behind the shield there, and I have the shield. Red mages, like I am right now, can wear shields, some shields, but this particular item here, it says level 1, which means all levels can use it basically, but you can use it from level 1. It gives you 1 defense. All races means any race can wear it, and all jobs means all jobs can wear it. It's kind of one of these event items that any job can wear, and even a white mage could wear it, even though, even a black mage could wear it, even though black mages don't typically use shields at all. Also, head armor, I don't have any head armor to use. Body armor here, I have Taru Kaftan. I can unclick it to take it off, and then just kind of like with your, it's not really clothing at all, but it's like your base unequipped look. Same with the mitts, same with that, same with that. Certain characters will actually like have just base clothing that isn't really armor. It's just kind of like a default look to the character. So, but I'm going to put that back on because it adds a little bit of defense. Not much. And then my ring slots are empty here, but the free ring I got with being a mage and going to Windhurst is the Windhurstian ring. MP +3, agility +1, intelligence +1. And you can see when I put them on here, it'll increase those stats on that side. I have nothing for the waist, nothing for the back. Also, when I click on one of these slots here, it'll give me the option to go to storage options, which is I might have some items in my wardrobe that I can equip on that slot. And right now, everything is in my inventory. So I go down to items here, and I see all the items I have in my inventory that are this is all the items I have in my inventory right now, and they happen to be all gear items. But if I want to, since I have limited space in my inventory settings, see I have 7 items out of 30 slots available in my inventory. That's going to fill up really quick because it fills up with all the items you get start out by going to your inventory. And so I want to, in the future, expand my inventory size, but also make sure that I'm keeping my inventory relatively empty. So when I get an item, if my inventory is full, I may not get it, or it could just like fall out of my inventory, and if I don't have the space for it, it'll go into what is like a temporary like slot that you can. I'll show you when I fight some enemies. I'll show you that. I won't confuse you now. So, oh, by the way, when this menu has kind of like a mirror menu when you go left or right. So status just kind of like, it gives you another set of options here. But when I go to items, I can see what's in my inventory. But when I go to click right, it's kind of a similar menu here. When I go to view house, this shows you what I have in my storage in my log house, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Log safe, there's nothing in there. Storage, there's nothing in there. But my log locker here, sorry, nothing in there either. Log wardrobe. Now, wardrobe can contain only items that are equipable. Right now I have nothing in there, but you can also only put items in there that are equipable. So you can't put like potions in there, and they're only for gear items. So I'm going to save space in my inventory, which only has 30 slots, and put all of these items in my wardrobe so I can still access them in the field when I need to equip stuff, but they're not taking up space in my inventory. So I'm going to put them all, view house, and then go into wardrobe, and put them all into one of my wardrobes here. I have 4 because that's how much I paid for, and that goes for the whole account, not just not each character, but I have 4 slots for wardrobes. Typically, when I have a lot of items, I put the items that go in the top 4 slots of my equipment inventory into my inventory, or my log wardrobe number 1. That is main, sub, ranged, and ammo into wardrobe number 1. So then I go to wardrobe number 1, equip the onion dagger there, and I go to storage options, and then another wardrobe number 1 to equip the shield. So now they're out of my inventory, but I can still access them because they're in wardrobe number 1, and it shows a little 1 up there on the corner. So I'm going to go back to my wardrobe number 2 now, and I don't have any head items. Usually I put head, neck, and earrings in there. In wardrobe number 3, I put the next row, I put body pieces, hand pieces, and rings. So there, and then wardrobe number 4, I put the bottom row, which is back slot, waist slot, leg slot, and feet slot, which are these 2 here. So now my inventory is clear. I have plenty of space to get items, and I still have those items though that I can equip, but I have to equip them from the wardrobe. So I go to wardrobe number 3 for body stuff, wardrobe number 3 for hands, and same with the rings, and legs for wardrobe number 4. So whenever I get an item, if I put them in the appropriate slot, then I save inventory space on the main inventory. So here I am with a dagger and a shield, and I can go out and fight stuff if I want to. But let me walk to my log house, and I'll show you that quick while I'm walking. I'll show you some other stuff while I'm walking. I also got a map here I can go into. That is the menu under status here. The main first menu here, go under map, and then it shows you. Oh, let me show you this real quick then. I'm going to go back around this way. Very, very important thing right here. So keep this in mind. soon as I get there. Hi, White Snake. Okay, right here, very important. This here is a home point. This is a spot where you can use to go to, you can warp around the world through all the home points that you've touched. So I can go ahead and touch this home point. I'm highlighting it right now, but I need to click on it to access it. And right now it says I've registered a new home point. Now I can warp with this home point to any other home points that I've touched. So I can set this as my home point, so when I die I can appear here. Right now I'll just appear back over where I started, somewhere in the middle of the road there. But I can set this to the home point, to my current home point, if I want to start here whenever I die, or whenever I use the spell warp. But I don't want to do that right now at the moment. I do, however, want to also show you this book here. This is the survival guide. It works kind of the same way as the home points, but it only works between survival guides. So now I have access to this survival guide, and I can travel between survival guides. Knowing where survival guides are and home points are will be crucial to letting you get around the world fast. It does cost a little bit of gil to move between them, but it's not much. Once you start making gil, it won't be much at all. So definitely want to do that. Also, over here, usually by the exits for each hometown zone is where you'll find the mission NPCs, which is the characters you need to use to start with missions. This basically is the main storyline of the game. So when somebody mentions missions, it's usually a storyline quest. When somebody says quest, it means like non-main storyline, but it's still story. With quest, it's just not basically necessarily used for the main story. And in the case of Windhurst, this is the what do you call it? The wizard warlock. Okay, so these NPCs here are ones that give you the option to get a signet. A signet is a special effect that you'll see show up, and I'll go here, click on that, and I'll get the signet. Now that signet there, up there, is currently running for 6 hours. So now whenever I go outside and kill enemies then in places that signet applies to, I will start getting conquest points. And conquest points is kind of an old system. It's not really that important nowadays because it's been 20 years since this game has started. But if I go into the menu here, region info, then I can see the conquest here. Right now at the bottom here I have 0 conquest points because I haven't earned any. But I can see that right now where I am, right now I'm in Windhurst right now, and Windhurst kind of owns the zone. That's always going to be the case for the base zones. But Saruda Baruda here is one of the outside zones where I can start doing some fighting, and Windhurst is kind of is the one in control of that. If a bunch of people from Bastok, for example, were to go with their signet and go attacking a bunch of stuff in Windhurst, they have the potential to change the strength of that zone to maybe even take over that zone, and then they would own the zone. Basically, the only benefit of that is certain items, certain pieces of gear will have bonuses in that area if you're in an area under your own control. Also, there's certain like outposts, which are an old school way of traveling the world. Outpost warps, you can do a quest to get access to a certain outpost, and then you can warp there between outposts. Now that the survival guides are around, those really aren't that important. So it's really not that important to like try to conquest the world with your particular town. So it's kind of like just kind of an irrelevant game system at this point. But however, you should still try to get signet on, so whenever you kill stuff, you get conquest points. They're down here, and those conquest points, especially in the early game, will help you get gear and certain items that will be very, very important. So I got my signet, and I am ready to go for earning conquest points whenever I need to. This balance of power up here, right now Sandoria happens to have the most zones, and Bastok is second, and Windurst is third. That basically means when you go to use your conquest points, certain items won't be available to me to use conquest points on, since Windurst is in third. If Windurst was in first, there would be certain special items that you can get that you can are only available when you're in first. So that's just a note there. All right, so I am going to this basically conquest here is for the base game without any expansion packs. Besieged here is for the Treasures of Ottergan expansion. Besieged kind of works the same way with these zones. You get their version of Signet, which is Sanction. So Sanction for the Ottergan zones will give you Imperial Standing points, which you can use for a different set of items, and it kind of works the same way. It's just an updated version for that particular expansion. And the same with Campaign for the Wings of the Goddess expansion. I won't necessarily get into that because that's a little more complicated, and it has to do with like actually battling 4 zones and stuff, and a little more involved. Also kind of an irrelevant game system, but you get a different set of a different currency, allied notes, and basically used for a different set of items. But once again, that's old content and not super relevant these days. And then there's Colonization, which is for the latest expansion, which is still 9 years ago, for the city of Adolin. Kind of works the same way. You get bailed when you have the Ionis special effect. Ionis is for Adolin. Sigil is for Campaign. Sanction is for Besieged, and Sanction is for like Ottergan and Besieged, and Signet is for Conquest. So that's what I got. I got Signet, so when I go out and fight some stuff, I'll start earning conquest points, and there's a couple items I definitely need to get. It is a Warp Ring and an EXP bonus ring, so an experience point bonus ring that I need to get from this guy right here. Once I have enough points, I need to acquire about 7,000 points. Alright, so that is the mission NPC. Let me go ahead and start a mission right now just so you can see. So this particular NPC, and there's a different named NPC for each zone, but it's usually at the exit of a zone you'll see this particular NPC. It's going to be a different one each time, but they kind of give you the same options. Slightly different dialogue, but that's all. So he's talking to me. Give me some dialogue. This is where you kind of get into the story. I'm not too worried about the story at the moment because I've seen it many times. But I'm going to go through here. All these Cardians here, these staffed automatons here, these little magical robots, they always speak in this weird dialogue. So I'm going through here, and I'm going to say, "Yep, I sure know." I'm not sure if that option means anything different, but I'm going to accept the mission. And it's going to tell me where to go to start this mission. And it'll tell me to go to, the Horototo Ruins in Sarudabruda. Talk to the person at the Oristary to get a mission about that, basically. And so if I were new and needing to know where it is, I would go to my map and look at the Oristary, and the Oristary is right there. So there's an NPC in there that I need to talk to to continue with that mission. I'm not really going to do that now because this is a basics video, which is already getting kind of long. So I'm going to go over what I just saw on the map here. I can see right here, this is like a little like a little highlighted thing. That's the home point there. I'm going to get that other home point right down there. Once you know where all the home points are, you can travel between them and really get an idea how to travel around the world fast. Not much else to do in this zone at the moment anyway. But let me grab this home point. So now I have 2 home points and I can actually use it to travel to the next one. Travel to another home point in Windhurst region. Port Windhurst is where I am now. Go to home point number 2. See, this is where it's trying to send me. That's the only place I can get to right now. And then it's there's no fee for teleporting within my zone, I guess, so I'm going to go there. So now it's going to teleport me to that other home point where I just was. And I'm kind of stacked upon that other person, so here I am. Here I am. Alright. So, that is an hour worth of basics right now. So I'm going to end this episode here and do a part 2 later on. Maybe in a few minutes. But we will see you in a little bit, and hopefully you have learned some things, and hopefully, instead of just like telling you about some things, I wanted to actually show you even places like where to click and how to change your settings and stuff like that. And I don't see often guides about how to do that type of thing. So if you're starting off, hopefully you learned something with this, and please comment and like the video and share if you know anybody who's starting off with the game. And yeah, subscribe, like, share, comment, let me know what I'm doing bad or what I'm doing good so I can improve my channel. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.